Your body wasn't designed to feel stiff every time you stand up. But modern life wrecks mobility fast. Hours in chairs, tight hips, rounded shoulders, ankles that move like concrete. And here's the scary part. Most people don't even realize how badly they move until simple things start feeling harder. Bending down, reaching overhead, squatting, twisting. The good news? You don't need expensive therapy, complicated yoga classes, or fancy equipment. Just 5 bodyweight movements can restore most of what sitting stole from you. And the first one attacks multiple weak points at once. The world's greatest stretch. Yeah, dramatic name. But honestly, it earns it. Because this single movement opens your hips, stretches your groin, mobilizes your ankles, improves thoracic rotation, and starts undoing years of stiffness in one shot. Think of it like hitting the reset button on your lower body and spine simultaneously. Here's how to do it. Start in a push-up position, hands under shoulders, core tight. Now step your right foot outside your right hand. Immediately, you'll notice how restricted most people are here. Your hips may feel jammed. That's normal. Drop your left elbow toward the floor as deeply as you can. This lights up your hip flexors, groin, and adductors. Pause. Then rotate your torso and reach your right arm toward the ceiling. Open your chest. Follow your hand with your eyes. That upper back rotation is where years of desk posture start fighting back. Then return to the floor and switch sides. That's 1 rep. Do 5 reps per side, slowly. Control matters more than speed here. And don't be surprised if your body shakes. That's not weakness. That's decades of neglected movement patterns waking back up. If your mobility is terrible right now, reduce the range. No ego. Because forcing depth too early is exactly how people stay stuck. Once you've loosened the hips and spine, the next movement gets even more specific. Because one of the biggest hidden reasons people feel old physically has less to do with age, and more to do with the fact their hips literally forget how to rotate properly anymore. And this is where most mobility routines completely fail. They stretch muscles, but ignore joint rotation. That's a huge mistake, because if your hips can't internally and externally rotate well, everything suffers. Knees, lower back, walking mechanics, even basic movements like getting out of a car or climbing stairs become less efficient. That's why 90-90 hip switches are so powerful. This movement rebuilds rotational freedom in the hips, something most adults lose dramatically after years of sitting. And once that rotation disappears, your body starts compensating everywhere else, usually with pain. To perform it, sit on the floor. Both knees bent at 90 degrees. 1 leg in front, 1 leg behind. Chest tall. Hands beside you for support if needed. Now, rotate both knees to the opposite side in one controlled motion. Front leg becomes back leg becomes front leg. Simple. But don't confuse simple with easy. For many people, this movement exposes shocking levels of restriction. Hips clicking, tight groin, cramping, limited range. That's because you're forcing your body into positions it probably hasn't accessed in years. Move slowly, stay upright. Don't collapse your chest forward. Your goal is controlled rotation, not surviving the rep. Aim for 10 slow switches per side. And here's where it gets interesting. After just a few sessions, people often notice their squats feel deeper. Their knees feel smoother. Their lower back tension decreases. Why? Because the hips finally start doing their share of the work again. If this feels impossible initially, elevate your hips slightly on a pillow or yoga block. Regression isn't failure, it's strategy. Because mobility isn't about extremes. It's about reclaiming usable range. Now, once your hips begin moving better, there's another critical area that needs attention. Your spine. Because if your back moves like one rigid board instead of segment by segment, stiffness compounds fast. And this next exercise looks ridiculously basic. But when done correctly, it can completely change how your spine functions from neck to pelvis. Most people think back stiffness is just part of getting older. It's not. It's usually a movement problem. Your spine was built for motion, flexion, extension, segmental control. But when you spend years barely moving outside repetitive patterns, your vertebrae gradually become less coordinated. That's where cat-cow becomes essential. And no, this isn't just some beginner yoga drill. When performed properly, it restores spinal articulation, improves posture, enhances breathing mechanics, and helps relieve chronic tension from your neck all the way down to your lower back. Here's how. Start on all fours. Hands directly under shoulders. Knees under hips. Neutral spine. Now slowly drop your belly toward the floor. Lift your chest. Tilt your pelvis upward. This is the cow position. Your spine should arch smoothly, not just dump into your lower back. Then reverse. Round your spine toward the ceiling. Tuck your pelvis, pull your ribs inward, drop your head. This is cat. The key? Move one spinal segment at a time. Not fast, not sloppy, controlled. Imagine each vertebra waking up individually. That's what restores true mobility. Do 10 to 15 slow repetitions. And if you've been stiff for years, you'll probably realize very quickly how disconnected your spine has become. Some areas will barely move. Others may overcompensate. That awareness alone is valuable because you can't improve what you don't control. Over time, this exercise dramatically improves how your body bends, twists, stabilizes, and absorbs force, which means less pain, better posture, and lower injury risk. But here's the bigger issue. Even with improved hips and a healthier spine, if your ankles, knees, and deep squat mechanics are dysfunctional, your lower body still won't move the way it should. And this next movement? It's one humans were naturally designed to do daily. Yet most adults today can barely hold it for 10 seconds without falling backward, which says a lot about how disconnected modern bodies have become from their original design. The deep squat used to be a resting position for humans. Now, for most people, it feels like a punishment. Heels rise, back rounds, knees ache, balance disappears. That's a problem, because losing your ability to comfortably sit in a deep squat often signals major mobility deficits in the ankles, hips, knees, and lower back. That's why the deep squat hold is one of the most important restorative exercises you can do. It rebuilds foundational movement patterns modern life systematically destroys. Start standing with feet about shoulder width apart, toes slightly turned out. Now slowly lower yourself into the deepest squat you can manage. Keep your heels grounded, chest upright, spine neutral. If you can't reach full depth yet, hold onto a sturdy object for support. Door frame, countertop, anything stable. The goal isn't forcing yourself down. It's gradually teaching your body to own this position. Once there, breathe deeply. Relax. Let gravity slowly pull you deeper over time. This isn't a strength contest, it's positional restoration. And for many people, this reveals massive limitations immediately. Tight calves, restricted ankles, locked hips, poor balance. That's exactly why it works, because it directly targets the weak links modern sitting creates. Start with 20 to 30 seconds. Progress toward 1 to 2 minutes. Done consistently, this movement can dramatically improve squat depth, reduce lower body stiffness, and make everyday movements feel significantly easier. Picking things up, playing with kids, moving athletically, even reducing unnecessary knee strain. But here's what most people miss. Lower body mobility alone isn't enough, because if your shoulders are rounded, your thoracic spine is locked, and overhead movement is compromised, your body still functions like it's aging faster than it should. Which brings us to the final exercise, and this one may be the biggest game changer for posture, shoulder health, and upper body mobility, especially if you spend hours sitting, typing, or staring at screens. Your shoulders tell the truth about your lifestyle. Rounded forward? Desk job, tight chest, too much sitting, limited overhead range, poor scapular control. And over time, that combination leads to neck tension, shoulder impingement, bad posture, and chronic stiffness. That's why wall angels are the final piece. This exercise restores shoulder mobility, strengthens the upper back, and retrains proper posture simultaneously. Stand with your back against a wall, feet a few inches forward, lower back gently pressed flat. Now raise your arms into a goalpost position. Elbows bent at 90 degrees. Try to keep your hands, wrists, elbows, and forearms against the wall. For many people, that alone is brutally difficult. Now slowly slide your arms upward overhead. Maintain contact as much as possible, then return downward. Controlled, no rushing, no arching your back, no cheating. This movement exposes tight pecs, weak upper back muscles, and dysfunctional shoulder mechanics almost instantly. Aim for 10 to 12 reps, slowly, and expect humbling results. Because most people discover their overhead mobility is far worse than they thought. But within weeks, posture improves, shoulders feel looser, upper back gets stronger, and everyday tasks become easier. Now combine all 5. World's greatest stretch. 90-90 hip switches. Cat-cow. Deep squat hold. Wall angels. Together, these movements target nearly every major restriction modern bodies develop. Hips, spine, ankles, shoulders, thoracic rotation. Do them consistently 3 to 4 times per week, and your body starts moving the way it was originally designed to again. Less stiffness, less pain, more control, more freedom. Because in the end, mobility isn't really about flexibility. It's about whether your body can still do what your mind expects it to.